I met this guy Sam our freshman year of college. Thought he was a weirdo as soon as he told me he was a history major, but it was confirmed when he told me his parents wouldn't let him drink caffeine at home. One time, we went to one of those classic college cold-pressed keggers, and he had a few too many and started rambling on and on about history. Anyways, I figured it'd be a fun thing to do to get him all caffed up and ask him a bunch of questions about a topic of his choice.
Who is it?
Hey,
Namaste, sir, son.
what's up, Chris?
How's it going, brother?
Good, man. Good to see you. How you been?
Good. I got some of that good on tap.
What do you got, man?
Oh, you know that Coca-Cola.
You got Coke?
Oh, yeah. Only the best, the finest. Come on,
I can't
we're gonna get you
wait.
capped up. There you go, man. Straight from over the border.
Dude, is there caffeine in this?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
So, dude, could you tell me a little bit about British history?
British history, man?
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
I'm interested in the Viking influence on York.
You don't say. I can tell you a thing or two about the Viking influence on York.
Tell.
Alright, Chris. Well, the thing about Vikings in York that you have to understand is a bigger thing about Vikings in England. You see, in the year 793, Common Era, there were these Vikings that were like, I don't know, they must have got tired of raiding friggin' Europe shit and Scandinavia shit, and they were like, let's go to England. So they went to England, right? And they got this little monastery on an island called Lindisfarne. They were like really into these monasteries because they didn't have very good defenses. You know, why would you defend in a monastery? You know, who's gonna attack a monastery? Not a Christian, but a pagan. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then a little bit after that, all these Viking dudes got together because they'd previously just been like, you know, like 30 dudes were like, let's get on a boat, let's go to England, let's raid some churches, kill some Christian people, get some money, you know, get some gold.
Been there.
Yeah, we've both been there, man, trust me. But then in the 9th century, they were like, what if we all got together, like, as a group, and attacked England? And they called themselves, I guess they probably didn't call themselves this, but, you know, the English people were like, we're gonna call these people, this group, it's gonna be the Great Pagan Army. And this Great Pagan Army, who were both called Norse, Vikings, and Danes is a big one. Which I feel like is kind of slighting the Norwegians, you know? It's like, you know, they were there too. They got together and they pretty much, they did some damage on England. They conquered most of it. And then there was this guy, Alfred of Wessex? Maybe? Anyways, they call him Alfred the Great in English lore, because he like united England and was like, get out of here, Vikings, and he pushed the Vikings out. But the main point, the reason why we're big fans of York, is because that's where our pals, I mean really not our pals, they were kind of bastards. These people, the Vikings, what was that? Yeah, they were really into York. They were really into York. They called it Jorvik when it was just the town, and then they also called their whole empire Jorvik, and it was centered in this place called York.
So, you know, I'm sure the Vikings spoke their own language. Did they affect the language of York in the long term?
Well, yes, Chris, they sure did. You see, certain loan words have affected all of English in the long term. For example, sky and egg are both from Old Norse. So thanks to our Viking friends for that one.
Thanks for breakfast in the sky.
Ah, there you go. And on top of that, I had to watch this this sick documentary for this class called The Story of the English, which was all about different dialects of English language, like with accents and whatnot. And yeah, it was really weird. Like, they had this farmer dude who was on it, and he was from York, and he just sounded like a fool. I mean, perhaps that's a bit strong, but he was just saying weird things. Like, they just made up words, it sounded like, but no, they're from Norse. Like, he kept talking about teaming his sile. What does that mean, right? I guess to team is to empty, and a sile is a bucket. So he was emptying some like liquid into a sile, I guess. I don't know. It was a whole ordeal.
Was he milking a cow?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good shit. I mean, well done, Chris. It was funny the way he talked too. Like, you know what a fjord is?
Like a Mustang?
Like a Mustang, but no. It's
A Ranger?
It's a
Charger?
geological. Yeah, it's a naturally occurring geological phenomenon where you have
Like
like
a Sierra, not the GMC.
You have like a weird enclave into like some land where it's like mountains on all sides.
Oh, a Toyota.
And it's also, yeah.
Toyota Enclave.
Get out of here. And it's like the sea in the middle, and then there's mountains, and that's a fjord. And yeah, they just said a lot of their words sound like they were saying fjord. I guess this whole fjord bit is pretty unnecessary, but we're still going to talk about it. Like he said, he got this package. This farmer guy, this Yorkie farmer guy, got this package, and he was talking to his what do you call it, postman? Yeah, talking to his postman, and he was like, "This feels like a Buick." And I was like, "What?" Yeah,
a Buick? What the fuck? Can't fit those. How do you carry that? Damn.
I don't have the answers, man. But I guess they just the way they pronounce things, they just add weird J sounds, like soft J, like the Y. So there's to answer your question, Chris.
Huh.
They did have an influence. Dude, check this shit out.
Wow.
He's not even whistling. It's from
How
his
do you think you
throat.
pronounce that name? It looks like a theta symbol.
I can't do Cyrillic, man. I can try and fail.
You wanna try it with me?
Look at him, man. He's kind of he's a stud. I feel like he's like the most handsome man that does this professionally. He gets down here, man.
Boom. The bass line. So, York was big when the Vikings were there? Is it still? How's the economy?
Well, Chris, York was real big when the Vikings were there. In fact, in our friend William the Bastard, or William the Conqueror's Doomsday Book, York was the second biggest city in all of London. In all of England. Second to London, so there's that, but,
Something about the economy?
yeah, okay, yeah. So it was real big then. It was real big, and that was like 150 years after the Vikings left. No, 130 or something. After the Vikings had bounced, and yeah, so the Vikings did real good things for both the size and the stature of York.
Alright, let's keep it PG here.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Anyways, when the Vikings were there, they boosted the economy real big because, you know, using the umbrella term Viking for Norse raiders, they went as far east as deep Russia, as far south as Baghdad. There's actually this really weird movie that stars Antonio Banderas, and he plays, this is goofy, he plays this like Iraqi dude who like travels north and goes to Norway. Actually, it's really bizarre. He goes to Norway and like fights off some mythical creatures. It's totally bizarre because like Vikings had gotten like really deep into Baghdad, and so he like went north to just like find the Vikings, and then like I shouldn't be talking about this. Anyways, so Yeah, they did good things for the economy of York. There's all this archaeological evidence from like coins from Baghdad, and they had like, I don't know, coins from deep in Russia, and like a bunch of different types of silk and cotton and cool stuff like that. In today's York, it's still like 200,000 people, which isn't as big as some of the other cities in London or in England, but it's a big old tourist attraction because, get this, the current York's economy is based on service industry and tourist industry as related to all of their different Viking museums. Can't make this stuff up. How bizarre is that? They have all these Viking museums, which is really the one big one, that have like archaeological evidence of the Vikings, and their slogans are like, check out this Viking home. It's like they're like, this Viking home is essentially like a Viking home from like 1,000 years ago. Yeah, Fjord Björk.
I just bought my fjord yesterday.
Buick. Yeah, dude, look at that's like what his face looks like.
No way, I thought that was fucking CGI.
No, man, Ron Perlman is a real person.
Damn, I would never have thought Hellboy was played by a real person.
I know.
How did the Vikings affect geography in terms, the social, political geography of York? Yeah, no.
Well, Chris, we'll get right back up, man. We'll get right back up. In all of England, the B suffix, the BY, not just the letter B, in like Derby and
Quite.
I don't know, I feel like Ashby. There's like a bunch of them. There's like a bunch of British cities. Neither here nor there. That suffix, the BY, meant farmstead in Old Norse. So they just kind of rolled with that one all throughout the old British Isles. And York specifically, which was called Eoforwick before the Vikings ever got there. That's what the Romans called it. All the big streets have the gate suffix. It's like Copper Gate. There's like one big one that I'm the gate suffix just meant street. They did not really get too elaborate on that one. Additionally, most other like classical Roman cities like like London, which was Londinium back when the Romans were having their big laugh throughout England, have like a grid style where that's kind of self-explanatory. I can get into it if you really wanted, but do ya?
Yeah.
It's not expecting you to say that. Oh, we got a grid, you know. It's like that, but like all over the place. You feel me? Like that, but like entangled a bunch. You know what I mean? You know what a grid is. It's like that all over the place, but not York. Not York. Maybe original York was like that. We simply don't know. But when the Vikings got there, they did this weird thing, which I read was like kind of feudalism, where it was just kind of like they hit the center of the city, and then as it went further and further out, it was like whoever was the king of Jorvik at the time was like, I'm feeling my guy, let's say Sven right now, I'm gonna give him some land. And so it'd be like, hey Sven, give me some land, boy. And we'd go to his land, and it'd be like portioned out like that, so there was really no rhyme or reason to it. But at the same time, there is some archaeological evidence that states that like certain areas had to be a certain size, or at least that's what we think. I don't know. Not a lot of writing survives from the time, so we can't really say for sure, but thanks for asking, Chris.
Of course. We're talking about New York here, right?
Yeah. USA.
That's how Chester picks that up.
Cat?
No, that's our mouse.
You have a mouse?
Yeah, the mouse that lives here.
No, fucking really?
Yeah. We've never seen him, but we've seen evidence of him.
Like what?
I don't know, like one time he ate through one of Michaela's chip bags. And then, I don't know, didn't he leave droppings one time?
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably dead, honestly.
Yeah, he's probably dead, that was long.
Probably like 4 months ago.
You know those things reproduce like,
Yeah.
I think he was just a lone mouse.
I'd say
you know?
bunnies, but I feel like we could do some
Mice.
other, yeah, have a laugh with that one.
We'll have a laugh.
We'll have a laugh.
Anything else that you think I should know before we're too caffed up to continue this conversation?
We could black out on caffeine pretty soon, shortly.
Look at how black this stuff is.
We've done a good number on that Coca-Cola. Well, Chris, I think it's important to note that the Vikings weren't really in York for all that long. We're talking less than 2 centuries, man. But in that short time,
Embarrassing.
yeah, I know. I mean, I'm Norwegian, so it hurts a little bit to know that my ancestors couldn't get it done. You know what I'm saying? No. But we weren't there for that long.
Else you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, biologist speaking here.
Yeah, this guy Chris, man. This guy Chris. They weren't there for all that long, but they still made some lasting impacts. You know, without the Vikings, they wouldn't have this economy based on Viking museums. You know what I'm saying? Without the Vikings, they wouldn't talk like weirdos. No offense. Just objectively, you know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of you know what I'm saying, so with this one, but it works out pretty well. Anyways, man, Chris, thanks for the caffeine. It's been a wonderful time for me.
Yeah, we'll get together for some caffeine soon.
Go
Cheers.
to a coffee shop.
Oh, double
Can you imagine?
espresso.
Oh.